Hello, John Payne, Rocky Mountain Backpacking. This morning we are on the Crags trail headed up towards Devil's Playground. This is the back side of Pikes Peak. It's about 9:30 in the morning and I think it's about 25 degrees out here. There's a little bit of snow on the ground, not even 6 inches, and we're quite high here. We're probably already about 12,000 feet, so or close to 12,000 anyway. So there really isn't that much snow for it being late January. Oh yeah, it's January 26th, 2013. So we're going to do some more hiking, and when we stop for some tea and lunch in a while, I'll do some more video and we'll see what else happens. Okay, let's go. Alright, well, we're just a little further up the trail, but I wanted to show you this. This is pretty cool. There's a little bit of a creek crossing, but it looks like the creek got blocked up pretty early in the cold season. And right where the trail's supposed to be, there's this big ice flow. It's supposed to come from there across the ice to this side. We kind of had to go up in the bushes over here to get around the big ice flow. But you can see that this is the north slope, and down in the gully, the big ice flow. And then just as we turn towards the south here, boom, the snow's all gone. That's the difference between a north-facing slope and a slightly south-facing slope. Alright, keep this is the way we're headed. Let's go. Alright guys, we're getting some elevation now, and just come to a spot that's kind of pretty, so thought we'd stop and do a little scenery shot. And that hill up there is where we're headed. I don't know if we'll get that far or not, we'll see. There's some gray jays making a lot of noise. Spotted them earlier, but I didn't get a shot of them. Anyway, let's keep walking. Alright guys, I'd like to show you a trail feature here as we're going up. What you're looking at is a place where people used to shortcut more or less straight up the side of the hill. This large pile of rocks here is not naturally occurring. Those were moved into place by people who are doing some pretty heavy-duty trail reclamation work. Can you see over here where these banks are kind of cut? This whole thing was quite a deep gully, and it's had a lot of fill-in work done on it all the way down along here. And you can see at the bottom here, this is near the edge of the official trail, where they put a bunch of rocks to kind of armor plate and prevent further erosion. So this kind of ugly scarring is what happens when you stray off the official trail on high tundra. So we're gonna stay over here on the official trail and keep going up. Alright guys, we're coming right up to the tree line now, and you can see that right next to me is a pine tree that's not even quite 5 feet tall. But this isn't a young tree. This is probably a mature tree, but it just lives in an incredibly adverse environment. And this is about as tall as it will get in its whole life. As we go up, the trees will get smaller and smaller until they disappear completely. There's a word for these. That word is Krummholz, which I think is German for little wood. But the idea is trees that live in incredibly difficult places and don't attain the 30, 40, 50 feet that they can easily get in a more congenial place. Alright, we're going to keep trying to get above the trees. That way. Alright, here we are just above tree line, and this is about as far as we're going to go on the hike today. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick look around at the amazing view and the beautiful scenery. It's really incredible weather for January. It is normally much colder and snowier up here. But I wanted to tell you guys a couple of things about altitude. You know, up here, especially in the wintertime, a lot of things can happen. Altitude sickness, dehydration, frostbite, mechanical injuries, twisted ankles, blisters, a lot of things. You have to keep an eye on yourself and on the people you're hiking with and know when it's time to call it a day. It's very easy to get this far and say, we can make it to the top. But if you get that summit fever and you ignore the warning signs of dehydration or altitude sickness, you can cause an injury that can make it really difficult or really uncomfortable for yourself or other people in your group to get down, to get out. Not to mention, you could cause an emergency where somebody really gets injured. So, be aware of the weather, of the time. Give yourself plenty of time to get out. Also, remember that up here, the wind blows constantly, and it will eat away all the heat from your body in a big hurry if you don't have something that will block the wind. A hat, gloves, windproof pants, all of this stuff, it's all important. Sunglasses, because even on a cloudy day like today, the sun on the snow can leave you snowblind in only a couple of hours. So UV blocking sunglasses are safety gear. They're not just to help me look good. Alright, well, I just wanted to give you guys a look around, and we're going to head down and we'll talk some more in a minute. Alright guys, we've come down quite a ways and you can see we're right back in the trees. We walked away from the trail a few feet and found a cozy little place here, and going to build a little bit of a fire and have a nice cup of tea. So I'll show you guys what I'm doing here. Alright, so here's our little nook, so to speak. Got pine trees, most of it right around it. It does have what looks like a deer trail running right through it, but the deer are in their day bed, so we won't bother them. There's a good rock. I'll clear away duff from that, and that'll make a nice place for a small, very small fire. And you feel me? Alright guys, as you can see, I got a little fire going. I've scraped out the duff quite a ways back, and once I'm done with this little fire, I'll replace the duff, hopefully hiding almost every trace of my fire here, so I'm not scarring up the landscape more than necessary. one of the things that I always carry with me as a form of prepared tinder is short jute strings that I've soaked in wax. And this is a fantastic tinder, never failed with it. But what I found over the last couple of years is that I've kind of grown dependent upon it. A little lackadaisical, a little complacent. And of course, as a prepared tinder, it is a finite resource. So to prevent myself from being too dependent on something that I have to bring with me, I used my fire steel with, and I took, I took the saw blade on my multi-tool, used the saw blade to scrape down a pile of sawdust from a dry pine stick. Put that sawdust in a bird's nest of crushed grass. Put some dried pine needles on top of that, and now I'm feeding, you can see, some pine twigs into there, and it's going just great. I'll be able to sustain this as long as I need, or make it as big as I want. So I'm actually very pleased that I was able to get the fire going without using my prepared tinder today. Alright, so I'm going to get my water bottle rigged up here so I can have some tea. We're recording? Good. Well, alright guys, we're almost all the way out now. One thing that I wanted to show you, and I forgot when we packed up and left, was how we reclaimed that little spot where we had our fire. Waited until all the wood was burned down to ash and embers, and then we got some snow and stirred in handfuls of snow until the snow stayed and we were sure the embers were out. Then went ahead and kicked that duff back over the area, and it's impossible to completely reclaim an area, but it doesn't look like a big ugly scar. So, and we scattered the materials, the leftover firewood and the things that we gathered, so that it had a natural feel at least. So, well, thanks for coming with us on this fun hike, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video.